and to actually state what happened.
Yeah.
Who's going to volunteer to write that? Is it
I
the
haven't been
editor?
around there for a few days.
Who what?
Is the editor going to write that?
Oh, right, okay.
He was still on the uptick there, wasn't he?
Thank you, Bob.
Well,
Can
if
you-
they found out the person who did it, they'll be kept knocking
Are
on
you
his
saying
door
we
to
organised a dog
pay the
bin sign, Colin?
insurance.
Sorry?
Did we organise the dog bin sign?
We did by the church.
Yeah.
So where do we get those from?
Mr. Harper.
So would you,
I think it's probably the sign, right? Yes.
if you're happy as an expert on signs, would you be happy to do
What do you want to put on the...
Please shut the gate.
This
Shut the gate.
Shut the gate. Right. And they will put...
This is Brown.
They'll understand about 15 quid a time at least. How many do we need?
4. 2 on each gate. That's 4.
4, please go. 4 signs.
On those in particular.
I think it's...
The red or white?
Red will scare the bulls.
Peter, who was the farmer?
Becky's Devon Cow.
Oh, yes.
Would it be
Mr. Tibbs.
would it be appropriate for Owen to just write to those two
Well-
and contact those two and tell them what we plan to do?
Yeah.
But
So just remind me again who they are?
Vicky Jones.
Vicky Jones.
Yeah,
I
Meadowvale.
understand how everybody...
Meadowvale, Brent Street.
Alright.
And it's 167, 16 something. But Mr. Tibbs, I don't know what his farm is, it's over in
Mr.
Middleburn.
Tibbs.
Tibbs is.
I'm probably fine.
This John.
It's fine to be asked to do that, I can do that, it's no problem at all. How much
I
shall
walk
we
around
spend?
there all the time.
Because I do,
Never seen
so
anything.
it costs more than you think. It needs to be done on an hour and back.
Did we investigate initial costs?
Well, of course I can, yeah,
And
but I mean,
then-
that will delay it for a month.
Yeah.
Or we can delay it to the 27th.
We could delay it, if we could get it by the 27th, we can...
But I'll give you some price about it.
Yep. That's okay. But I just think it, taking Colin's point, we're going to support these people, that'd be nice just to tell them that we've noted their concerns and we'll, this is the action.
And if we
plan.
get them, we then ask the landowners to attach them.
Yeah. I think if you
Yeah.
tell them that,
I will. Peter and I'll go.
Yeah, but I'll come in. Don't worry.
Peter, anything else on footpaths?
No, the grass is falling down now, it's getting so high that it's falling over. Nothing else other than...
It's got ridiculously high this year.
No, you'll be able to see the deer soon.
Don't talk to me about deer.
Mm.
A highway report.
Nothing to report?
Anything to report? No. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I will.
Oh,
I see the signs all up past Andrews about, it looks as though they're going to redo the road.
surface dressing.
Well, I thought they were going to dig it up this year to put a sewer in.
Well, they are, but as you know, one department in the highways won't talk to another. So you're guaranteed they'll resurface it and then they'll come and dig
It's
it
the
up
best bit of
again.
Brent Street.
Are they going to just spray it and scatter?
I would almost certainly think, looking at that's what the signs
I
mean.
think that's
I thought somebody put them up to stop people speeding, actually.
No.
As a kind of-
But how was it doing this? Is that there are signs for spray and scatter and burn on sea, and there's another lot too. And they all seem to be starting at the same time.
Yeah,
the same
but
thing.
if you note the signs, the dates keep changing because they keep going back. Right.
There is quite a big pothole outside the tennis court. You know, where the big trees are.
We will almost certainly get complaints if they do surfing dress over swish windscreens.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, can I just go back for a quick question on footpaths? The path behind the church, Owen, you were going to get Durston to provide 3 posts and re-erect the handrail.
Yeah.
And that
And
doesn't seem
he's
to
got that on his list to do, and unfortunately I spoke to him only about 2 weeks ago because we had quite a bit of controversy because he sent us an invoice which was a complete repeat of the previous one, and whilst I was on the phone to him I said, look, you know, we only like really one invoice per job rather than 2, and by the way, the other job that we've got planned, and he said yes, it's there and it's ready to be done. So hopefully he'll do it in the next couple of weeks.
The other issue, sorry, we should have, obviously it's related to highways and footpaths, there's the white lines still haven't been done.
Yeah.
And there was comments on the wood being used.
Yeah,
Dreaded
I just
farm.
mentioned that, that's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The
what?
wood that the fire brigade had to use to get access to the
all
farm.
along there. And it's her, I mean, it's Christine that keeps complaining about the gutters are being blocked. And she's the one that, well, her brother's the one that's blocking.
The white lines, I can update them on that. I spoke to the county about the white lines, as I have done on at least 3 occasions. And they come back to me with the same answer every time I speak to them, is that that particular section of the road is not wide enough for us to redo the white lines. And if they keep on repeating
Which,
it.
the one near the corner?
Exactly, this is the one on the bend. And I say to them, well, look, they're already there, so what we're actually asking you to do is to redo them. We're not asking you to add lines that are not already there.
Yes.
You won't do it.
Well, that's a ridiculous answer, isn't it?
Colin?
Sorry, it's a new point as well on footpaths. We said we were going to speak to Mr Durston also about rectifying the stiles while the railway
Yes.
at Crooked Lane using the sleepers, the redundant sleepers. And I really think we need to address that because it's an important crossing place for people and a difficult place.
Actually, the person I originally asked on that was Ian Morgan, actually, not Durston.
Oh,
I don't know who it is, but
Beg your pardon.
whoever it is.
Can we go back to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sleepers are with me.
Yeah.
So you've got sleepers, so they can get access to them.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask me, don't you?
Okay.
Sorry to lock.
Sorry to go back.
So, Peter was there.
It's for you, Park.
Peter.
I'm getting that, it's all right. I'm just falling apart as old age.
Yeah,
Go for it.
the curbstone is still outstanding outside Kennet House.
Yeah, so.
But this wood sleeper, can we actually bring that to somebody's attention in authority?
What the stars, you mean?
No, the one outside steps.
Oh, yes, they.
It has been there for a long time.
Yeah, but it's still causing a drainage blockage.
Yeah, but
See, I think
he
with
uses it to go on the pavement.
some of these issues with county, I think they they haven't said so, but I think they grade them in a sort of a sense of urgency. Because what I've noticed is that sometimes they go suddenly and do something that we mentioned months ago, and which I've forgotten about, which everybody else has forgotten about, and something gets done.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure how we go about trying to focus them down on what these issues are, because they don't seem to respond on all of them. They respond on some of them, but not all of them.
Equally, we weren't advised, or should we have been advised, of if it's going to be surface dressing in Brent Street. Now, the first we knew of it, there were signs up to say it's happening.
Yeah, we've had no communication at all.
Or is it something we should be talking, is there a highway liaison where we can actually say, can we improve communications, please?
I'm sure there is, but whether they will or not is another matter.
Opposite the Methodist Church, coming down this evening, tea time, cars were parked all down almost to the corner. Now, I know we've mentioned this before. Are these people still the same ones who are not going to paint the white lines that are already there? Or do we ask for yellow lines there to stop?
I think they are yellow lines.
You won't get yellow lines, yeah.
But it's just what an excellent bit now. There. I just wonder what we do about it.
that, actually, to be honest, or who we should even
Can
contact
I
for that.
make a suggestion? In the Brent Knoll News this month, there's a new PCSL, house the other way around, and she will take on, she's asking, any problems at all,
do you
please
know what names?
contact. I can't
It's
remember what
in
it,
You what?
but it's PC, have I said it right? Police
PCSL.
Constable?
Oh, yeah.
What
PCSL.
Pauline used to do.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
yes. And she's asking for any problems or anything, please contact
Well,
her.
I was going to ask council's agreement on an item further down the agenda. I was planning to get hold of her to talk about speeding
Yeah.
in the village. So at the same time, we
Yeah.
could perhaps talk about
Yeah,
whether they could put any pressure on highways or to assist us on how we can resolve the white lines and the yellow lines or whatever, and parking in general.
It's noticeable that people are coming down there, walking their dogs, but they're arriving in cars. They park as close as they can to that lane, and the dog will get out along the people.
is it Pete Wills? Is that the?
Well, Pete Wills is the beat manager.
Yes.
But the PCSOs are the ones that generally take up these matters.
Yes, because he said lately, any problems, please get in touch with me.
Okay, well, I've got Pete Wills' email
Yeah,
address.
well, he might, yes,
So,
both of them actually might.
I think we spread the oil as far as we can.
Yes, I would have
Well,
suggested.
Pete Wills is probably the one who's more likely to do something because he's
Well,
a
perhaps
police
you
officer.
Would he be the one to approach about opposite the Methodist Church?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
car parking
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah,
Well, perhaps he
I mean, it only needs a little area, 2 or 3 cars lengths, to make it much more safe.
yeah.
Okay. I'll send Pete an email. I'll copy you into it so you can send it off if he comes back to us. You can see what he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Village Green and Toilet Block. I think we've had a report from them.
Yeah, Malcolm's done a report here actually.
Yes,
Last one.
during that time that the fete and the Sunday party took place, the grounds were left in pretty good condition. The grass has grown quite a lot over the period, but otherwise there's not been any problems at all.
And it's May this next month.
It is.
Lighting in
That's one for
the
that.
toilet block. Did you manage to look at that?
Yeah, I did it, well, I don't know if it's, well, I shortened the duration of the lighting from about 8 o'clock to 11:30. So I'll see if it's on in a minute, but I've come back a couple of times at the
I think
moment.
got the lighting, so timer basically
It was a timer.
Timer.
We thought.
sorted.
But was that the cleaner?
It was, well, Karen Barnes sent me the email, and I suspect that it was a cleaner that reported to her, I guess.
Did they do the tap? Did you?
Yeah, the lights are on now.
Well done. Thank you.
It was just a question of playing around with the clock, but you'll have to let me know again when it starts to get dark before 8 o'clock.
Thank you, Peter. That's good. Parish surgery and police matters. Oh no, sorry, beg your pardon.
We've got GB Sports.
GB Sports, so I'm joking.
I've got something to tell you there from GB Sports. There's, you know, we have two levels of reporting on that. One is the monthly one, which Colin Lewis does. It doesn't tell us a great deal because it's pretty well the same every month, actually. And the only change this month is obviously got the receipts orders removed. But the other one we have is an annual one, which we had done back in early May, I think it was, or late May, early June. Unfortunately, the chap that did it went off ill before he wrote the report. Which means that GB Sports have now got to get the whole report done again, because apparently he's laid up now, is likely to be ill for some considerable time. So they've asked us to bear with them whilst they get the services of another annual reporter to go and do another check on the group. So I said I will put it before the council and tell them give you an update on what's happening, basically. So I mean, we do need to have that for our insurers, because the annual report is more important than the monthly report when it comes to insurance.
Have we paid for the monthly report?
No. Because funnily enough, the reason why it came up, in fact I don't know whether they were going to tell us, but the reason why it came up was because, bearing in mind we were coming to this meeting, I rang them up and said, have we got an invoice for your annual report? Because if not, you won't get it paid until September. And I said, well, we haven't done an annual report. And then of course it opened up a whole can of worms. I thought, yeah, he did it, but he didn't do it, sort of thing. He did it but didn't write it down. So it's got to be redone.
Well, that's another thing with GB Sports. You had to contact them to find
Yes.
out, which is
Yeah.
sad.
They're not particularly good, actually, to be honest.
Well, funny enough, I was going to address this tonight when we talked about our play equipment, because we've been in touch with several play equipment providers as a result of doing our exercise. And there's no doubt about it that GB Sports are lacking in the way they deal with us. You would have thought that as they are very local to us and they've got a regular dealings with us, that they would treat us probably as a preferred supplier.
Yeah.
But it's clear they don't. They don't.
But interestingly enough, we do not have a contract with them. It's done on a
month-by-month basis. We'll
Well,
stop at any time.
I think it might well be a future agenda item, or once we've done some, to look at
alternatives.
alternatives.
Yeah.
Sutcliffe Play, for instance, who do a lot for, are recommended by the guy I spoke to at Sedgemoor, have come out really good for the work we've asked them to do. But I'm sure
I am very conscious of the point, because not only that, but you think of the debacle over the seesaw, Colin. You know, it was only when we really pointed out the state of wood being so rotten that Peter found out. They then put it on their report.
well, it's going in tomorrow, the new seesaw park.
Excellent. Are you going up to the river and shit?
No,
It's not going to have a grand opening. That'd be nice.
So a September agenda item then for the future of our plan inspection and how we want to proceed.
But in the interim, should we be asking DB Sport to have a report for us by September?
Yeah, they promised one before the end of July.
Before the end of July, so to cover our
So
issue.
they'll obviously be using somebody else, presumably, because they don't do it themselves, you see, the annual report. They farm it out to somebody else.
Could have been approved inspector.
So one of the big problems with the reports that we get, the monthly reports, is they always say the same thing. There's never anything different, which I find a bit strange.
Which does subsequent
Probably
monthly
copying it
report.
and just sending it off.
We have one, there's nothing else on it apart from the seesaw. That's the only thing that's any different from any of the previous ones. But the seesaw's been removed. I did ask them also for a quote on, I think it was it Bob? You asked me to get some quotes on some of the seating, chapels and things that need. Well, I see, after last meeting I asked them to give us a quote on that, and I had nothing on that at all.
I think
Colin did write to me and say, I apologise, I haven't had a chance to do it.
I think
There's problems there.
Colin's point is very well made, and I think we need to have some further proposals in September to agree as an alternative.
As a result of this, then, shall we make it a part of our, once we've discussed our equipment tonight, then we'll approach different people together.
Can your Ryan's working group?
We'll look at Sutcliffe and Wixley and see.
Yeah, I think that.
Whether anybody else can
I have
do
to say,
that.
I haven't been impressed with what you're saying. But yeah, I think that'd be good.
All right.
Anything on flooding, Peter?
Yes, notice coming out the village now that there's hardly any water coming down the village and the ditches are beginning to smell. So, but having said that, there's not a lot of water coming off the hill anyway this time of year, but I wondered as to whether we could be a nuisance, I know, is take the pump down when we've got a bit of water in it and pump some over the weir to send it down the village to fill the ditch up a bit.
But looking at the rain, at the weather forecast, we're not going to get much rain in the next foreseeable future.
Oh, excellent, excellent. But I was also wondering as to whether Brew drainage they won't dig the ditches out very deep because it's something to do with the rhizomes and the reeds and what have you. If we could ask them to dig it out a bit so it would hold a bit of water. No.
I think they have actually supposed to have changed their plan from what I can understand, and they certainly, when they did the Brent Broad and the other ring, they did actually dig out the residue. They dug out much deeper than normal, so maybe they're going to have the same regime on the other viewed greens. Think that.
Well, we can with ours.
So what are you asking?
Well, I'm
Flood
asking.
some water first.
Sorry?
We'll flood some water first.
Yeah,
shall
we'll
we?
send some water down the village. We'll get the group together
Hang fire on that
From
point.
where?
Or we'll wait till we get
until we get a deluge.
September
Pump
time.
some over the wall.
It's going to rain again.
Or we put a sock up the outlet that goes across the road.
Do you want me to minute anything?
Not at this stage.
It's just, there's nothing happened on the, we've had a look at we looked at that last month. We don't usually look at the pump for about 3 months, 4 months.
That's fine. Good. Parish surgery and police matters.
This afternoon, really, there was just Richard, myself, and Kim from the village agent. We had two visitors, actually, yes. Mrs. Bryant, who was concerned about the planning application, the one in Crooked Lane. Also, obviously, raised the issue about concerns over bus provision in the village.
Affordable housing,
Affordable housing cropped up.
both sites.
But she was just really reiterating what other people's concerns had been. But she decided to come here and tell us. Basically, the first bus, the bus provision is the key one for us, I guess. Is it Bryant, Station Road?
Oh, right.
And also, yeah, because she was the one who obviously had the numbering issue last June.
Yeah.
To discuss it. So she's very sensitive about the bus thing, and I think obviously it's on our agenda for discussion. So.
And George came along and he sent us a letter.
Which is over there, which I've read.
But most of his comments relate to planning issues rather than the stage we're at alongside the consultation phase.
We'll come on to that correspondence, I'm sure.
No, please. Though one of the PCSOs was here,
And was here actually, yeah.
but playing with her children on the green.
So,
Anything from yourself, Owen?
just one thing on filming meetings. We need to find a medium for publicising it, and how do you want it to be publicised? Because if we're actually going to be filming meetings, we need to publicise it so people know where to find the information. So really, we just need to know from how you want it publicised.
Or do you want it back to that's our question.
Do we have to put this?
No. Publicise the fact that we have a meeting once a month, but nobody turns up.
Yes, of course not.
You could mention it in the VKN, if they wanted to.
I question whether we actually need to publicise it. And we do publicise our meetings in advance, it's on the notice board, and we get a summary in VKN, and at the end it says next meeting will be blah blah blah. So do we need to do anything further?
Well, you can always put it on the agenda.
The agenda is now has a little piece of beginning actually from the show. The meeting will be filmed in accordance with 43.3 and 4I of the Local Accountability. That's on there now as a standard clause.
And they'll see that anyway on the notice board.
Well, if they read it. They read it.
Okay.
Right, so we're down to correspondence.
Well, there's 2 or 3 items there. I won't go into too much detail about the email. Other than to give Malcolm a copy of it. Malcolm, you want to see my I'm sure it's a bit of late night reading for you there.
In the end.
All the various emails that come from a local resident, which you may wish to have a look at.
At the top of the agenda after the...
the same thing there.
Just before the items listed. This meeting will be filmed in accordance.
Have you got the latest agenda there?
That's all right.
It's on the very, very last one that was sent.
It's in heavier type there. This meeting will be filmed.
Oh, yes.
What's this?
We've got Specsavers. Okay, so we've got the email which I've given to Malcolm to read through if he wishes to at his heart's content. The other one was the first bus reply, which I don't suppose anybody had any surprise about.
No.
Basically saying that we'd love to provide you with buses, but it's up to the county to finance it effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
So, over to you.
Profit before service, as they might call it.
The other one, there was the letter from our MP, James Heapy, who says that he's obviously concerned about a number of areas. He's compiling a list of the areas that need bus provision, and he's going to take it up to the county, as and when. So whether he does or not, again, he doesn't actually say he's going to come back to us.
He's busy choosing a leader.
So whether we need to follow that one up, I don't know.
Bob.
On a couple of those, if I could, on the C one, the letter from the MP, I think what he's also hoping to do at some point is to organise a joint meeting potentially between reps of this parish and East Brent, together with county and the bus company, to see if there's some way, on a round table basis, we can actually come up with something that might be able to move forward. And on the first one, the neighbourhood planning bit, obviously we were asked whether as a council we were supportive of doing neighbourhood planning. I wasn't sure whether we were or weren't.
Well, it's up to the parish council. I mean, the suggestion was made that we should have a neighbourhood plan of some description. I mean, there's an awful lot of hurdles to go through before you put a neighbourhood plan together.
I thought, Bob, that we thrashed this out some time ago, or discussed it, and that as the village has little room for development anyway, that a neighbourhood plan was not necessarily relevant to Brent Knoll. But I'll be guided by what you say from that point of view, because obviously what's happening now is that as a result of social housing demands and land all of a sudden being offered, it might well be that we need to start to consider it, particularly in the light of the sites that have been identified as potential sites, and therefore we should start to consider it.
But do we need to have a neighbourhood plan per se? We don't, surely, because it will come be driven by from the other way through Central East Point.
About 12 years or so ago, we did attempt to produce a village development plan. We sent out questionnaires to everybody. Of course, got about 10% response. And I'm afraid it just eventually petered out, didn't it? But I noticed in this folder, which I passed to you, was it that one? There is an article in one of the magazines giving guidance for it, so it might be an idea to have a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. There's a cost factor as well, apparently. The cost of, because I remember I went to the initial meeting at the Burnham when they set up their neighbourhood plan, and it was going to cost Burnham Town Council at that stage about £25,000 just to start setting the process. Now, I know Burnham's a big council, but even so, there is a cost element to it. It doesn't come without cost.
There's also a cost on people's time as well.
Well,
I think something Colin's right in the my own view would be, I don't think we necessarily need to be looking at one, but I think it's just something we need to decide. But because in a way, the P4 affordable housing route is a way of addressing the need without going through all the hoops of having to be the neighbourhood plan. There's no plans at the moment that Sedgmoor have got to be looking for major developments on villages like ours, and therefore I don't think it necessarily would be appropriate for us this time. But I mean, I think it's just something we've looked at. If we decide we're not going to do it, then that's fine. But it's just that gives us a response if other residents raise the same issue. Because if you've been listening on the radio and websites and everything, neighbourhood planning is very much being pushed at the moment. So it may not be the last time we're asked about whether or not we want to have one. So it's just as well that we know where we're coming from.
Peter.
There's some chat around the room. I've had a problem outside with this affordable housing. As Colin just said about social housing, other people were saying about who wants to live with somebody on benefits. I said it's nothing to do with that. It's affordable housing for those people that have got an affinity with the village that can't afford to stay within the village. So I think what we all ought to do is talk about affordable housing and nothing else.
We have got an agenda on that later,
Oh,
so an item on that, but you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
Peter.
On the correspondence, the only other one is this letter we had here, which you read, of course, to do with the Station Road. This was on the table actually. George Brown.
Yeah.
Just wanted to raise his concerns, and he says concerns of others as well about the proposal. And
I would propose that Owen writes back to George and says thank you for your concerns. We recognise these are planning issues, and we will consider them at the planning stage. If a plan at the planning stage, if it occurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did both, right.
Yeah, we need to go back to it.
It's very thorough, actually.
very fulsome letter, actually.
I think also we must fight against this terribly negative attitudes that a lot of people have got over this affordable housing.
Can we talk about that on the agenda?
Yeah,
please?
okay.
The only reason I say that because I
Yeah, fine.
totally agree with you, and I've got some thoughts on it as well.
Okay.
Anything else on
That's
correspondence?
correspondence dealt with.
Money?
Right, okay, we've got two groups, two blocks of payments to consider. One is our statutory payments, which is our standard item, which includes salaries, tax, GB Sports and Jason Mayo. And that all comes to a total of 2578 for this particular month, which is in line with where it should be.
Before you go on,
Yeah.
if Brian's group are going to look at this alternative to GB Sports, would it be worth them, if they don't already know, having an idea how much we pay GB Sports each year routinely?
£18 a month.
£18 a month.
And that hasn't gone up actually for 5 years, so it's been the same cost.
And that would include the annual inspection?
No, the annual cost is £66 for the
Right, so annual inspection is 66. Sorry.
And then there are additional payments. One is the year account for last quarter, £28.06. The parish room hire, which obviously we've got some personal interest on those. This is a period from January to June, quite a long period actually for the parish room hire account. But I've checked it all against the dates, it's all correct.
Did we have to pay for the Sedgemoor presentation, or did Sedgemoor?
I think Sedgemoor pay for that. I've not seen any evidence that we're paying for that, but maybe we are, I don't know. But we won't know that until the next invoice, because this didn't go up to them, of course.
I would suggest you check,
Check with
because I don't know who it was who booked it
Right.
with Jenny.
Sedgemoor.
If Sedgemoor booked it, then Sedgemoor would bill, but if we booked it,
Yeah.
then we would be billed,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it might be worth
It
it.
might just be worth checking that. And then you've got the office expenses for the period April to June, which you've got a sheet in front of you which identifies the various components of that. And that gradually comes down. And the reason why it's coming down gradually is because, of course, we're printing less, because we're emailing more. So you'd expect those figures to come down over a period of time.
That's not all mine.
And for anybody who's concerned about distance between Falmouth and Brent Knoll, you'll notice on there that the only charge that is made is from Burnham to Brent Knoll, which was the original agreement that we had with the council. So
I probably asked you this before. When do you plan to, or can you just remind me when we plan to update the software?
we will update the software as and when. RBS are doing a new program actually. They're updating it as we speak. And this is why I've done nothing about it, because it's going to need quite a bit of learning apparently. It's not as easy as the current software. So although it's more complex in terms of what it offers, it does require a lot more training. So I need to find out what training is actually needed for that. Once they've got it actually up and running. Because RBS are the only people that really do specific council software. There's very few other people doing it. So it's not something we can look around and see lots of other alternatives.
Okay.
But that's basically the sheet for that. The other thing is that there is obviously the statutory payments for the following month in August, because we don't meet in August. Then obviously we still have to pay our bills. So there's the same statutory payment, 2578 for the August period, but will not be presented until the earliest date, 1st of August. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I propose that we pay the payments as detailed in item 7 here, together with the August payments as statutory payments in the sum of 2578 as Owen has detailed.
Peter seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. Did you have a comment, Rob?
Yeah, on this sheet,
Budget sheet, which is the next one.
can I just ask a question, clarity? It's pretty obvious upstep, but not to me. On the income budget, the actual to date is about 50%, but all the rest are roughly in line with a quarter.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, the reason why the precept payment is 50% because we only receive 50% of it in this period. Obviously, we get the other half in September, so that's the reason. The other thing that will change, of course, is that the interest payments we currently get will cease after this call because Unity Trust Bank don't pay any interest any longer on current accounts. But they're not alone because nobody else does either, so it's not as if we go anywhere else for that.
The 5,000 that we had.
That will go on July figure, of course. The inward grant of 5,000 will go on the inward grant.
So the previous 5,000 was
In
last
the
year.
previous year, yeah.
But it's in reserve.
And there's no VAT for 7 claims so far this year.
So you haven't got the inward grant in yet?
No, I suspect it's probably been the next few days, I guess. She's got our bank details now, so that will come in during July, I would think. Those figures there don't include July payments, they only include June payments. So it's actually the same sheet as you had last month, where I did include the June payments, so it's no different. Okay, so any other questions, please do.
General maintenance seems to be £1,000 higher than budget.
Yeah, that's actually.
3,000 I suppose.
I need to let you know what that is because I haven't got the accounts in front of me. But
No, it just seemed to.
yes, I mean there's obviously something in there that we pay for. I can't recall it instantly. There was something quite big at the beginning of the financial
Nothing
year.
to do with Jason Ryan's contract.
No. I'll let you know on that. I'll email you
Thank
the
you.
detail of that. The other thing I wanted to just talk to you about under finance, of course, was what we do about the Brent Knoll Charities account, because that's been sitting now pretty well idle now for years and years and years. We now actually have got it sorted. We've got Bella and Brian who are signatories to that. There's £672 in the account. Do you just want to leave it there, or do you want to consider at some point using it for some other reason? I mean, it was obviously set up for a different purpose than what is currently needed.
I would suggest we leave it there because we may well have some big expenses coming up from the village Christmas.
Yes.
£672, we're not going to do anything much.
It would help a little.
It will help, but
Yeah.
a couple of noughts on the end, and it might help.
I'm not sure what the original constitution of it, when it was set up originally, what it was. I know what it was for, Paul. It was for the poor of Brent Knoll, wasn't it? Whether that's still relevant. So whether you're happy just to leave it there, I mean, it just sits there, or whether you want to do anything with
Well,
it.
because we haven't had a meeting with the trustees for a while, and again, what we could do is we could reinvest it into the same investment that it's in at the moment, which at least would generate more rather than just sitting there doing nothing.
Possibly at the moment, not. Okay, can we accept that then? Can we have a meeting of the proposed have a meeting of the trustees and for them to investigate further investment?
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Right, who's going to talk about play equipment ongoing proposals and considerations? Is that down to you, Sir Brian?
It is indeed. To start with anyway, we've had 2 or 3 meetings, John, Peter, Colin, myself, and we investigated quotations from 3 different firms, from GB Sports, Sutcliffe Play and Wicksteed. We had a lot of discussion on it, and we've narrowed the offers down to 2. That's for the mugger. We're just talking about the mugger at the moment, multi-use games apparatus. And we've narrowed it down to Wicksteed and Sutcliffe Play, which seem to have the best offers. Both firms gave discounts without being asked, whereas GB Sports didn't. Colin tried to ring it out of them, didn't you? We also had a lovely trip to North Somerset yesterday, finish up at Spaxton to have a look at some apparatus there, which had been put in by Sutcliffe Play. It was a multi-games unit, and we were very impressed with it. And Colin's got a photograph of it on his iPad. And that had been put in during the last year.
The last couple of months.
The last couple of months, yes. And we also spoke to one of the organisers of the village committee who had helped get this sorted out. And she was very impressed with it. if we have one, we favour the framework of being in green, which would fit in with the surroundings, and the surface in front of the goal to be on a base of crushed stone, over which a fine layer of rubber crumbs is put, to give a sort of reasonably soft landing for a goalkeeper who's diving, for instance. It's pounded down to provide a really good base, and then artificial grass is laid on top of that in a semicircle, and this is bordered by a rubber rim obviously for safety purposes, and it provides a surface with some give, and I thought it was too soft for cricket itself, but it was a compromise really, because football is more popular than cricket with children, I think. It would be okay for basketball as well. One option,
Sorry to interrupt. This particular picture, is this what you're actually proposing we have? That size?
Exactly.
It's quite a...
It's 3 metres high.
We can compare it with the major, because you've got the major sort of doing his, whatever it is, exercise there. So we get some idea of size, you see.
Very small character in the corner.
Look, there's this idea of a selfie. Anyway, both options we thought were very good from Wicksteed, from the same area. And I've got a picture of the Wicksteed one, drawing, which is very, I know it's not a very good copy, but it's very similar to what we saw yesterday there. This is the detail of the Sutcliffe play one. If you like to pass those round, or if you can share them, please, save paper. And this. What have you got there? Sutcliffe play? Yeah, there's another one. Spare one. And this is Wicksteed's, which doesn't include, in fact, the wicket. Not cricket wicket, but...
Whose is this then?
No, that's Wicksteed.
Sutcliffe is that one.
Oh yeah, that one.
And there was another Wicksteed one. Do you want that?
No, we've got two.
Wicksteed one?
No, they've got two.
You would like that. So it's really up to you as a parish council, or us as a parish council, to decide, do we want this, which model will be best to suit our purpose, and also how is it to be financed. You'll see that the Sutcliffe one is a bit more expensive than Wicksteed's. And well, I'll really hand it over to you. See what you think.
That photograph was the Sutcliffe.
Sutcliffe.
Yeah,
Did you say they gave them a discount?
Yeah, Sutcliffe and Wicksteed both gave discounts without being asked.
Well,
That's why we...
strictly true. I did ask.
Oh, right, no.
And if you remember, I told Wicksteed to sharpen their pencil.
Yeah, they did.
That's beside.
But they've both been very good. Response.
We haven't seen the Wicksteed product. We've only seen the Sutcliffe product. But the Sutcliffe product is an attractive piece of kit. It's well made. The screening is all cushioned with rubber. So, in other words, if the ball hits the netting on the side, it's not going to create any noise or disturbance surrounding people, and it's been beautifully installed, there's no doubt about that, and it's a very sturdy piece of kit. I think the Sutcliffe costs are £10,000. The Wicksteed will probably be a little bit more than 8,000, won't it? That's net, that's without VAT, but then that doesn't come into it.
So the other thing to mention also, I notice, is that we need to think about, it's going to take several months, even if we decide now, It's going to take several months before it's put into action, by which time the prices may well have gone up, because one of the comments on it was it's valid for 30 days. But and with this turmoil in the finance markets, it's possible that it might go up.
The reason we discounted GB Sports, just as a matter of interest, is that they were reluctant to give a discount on costs. Their equipment is all stainless steel, and modifications will be required to it, which may well bump the cost up. But the worst thing was that the prices will go up due to the poor euro exchange rate, because they buy their stuff from abroad. So, to be honest with you, we discounted GB Sports because it didn't really suit. Stainless steel would not suit our environment here. So we've gone for these two. These are our recommendations. As regards financing it, as you know, we've got £5,000 anyway, and we fortunately are being given another 5,000. But my suggestion is that we don't necessarily spend all this money on one project. We look at this and my suggestion is we keep the second £5,000 in our locker just for the moment until we decide there might be some other project that needs to be coming through. And my suggestion of how we finance it, therefore, in the absence of spending all this money, is two ways. One, in our budget this year, we have £5,000 for flood mitigation work, which we may well not use. So we could dip into that flood mitigation. The other way would be to borrow the money from our reserves. In other words, we borrow £5,000 from the reserves that we carry, and we recoup those reserves on an annual basis through our precept each year going forward. And that would mean very, very little difference to our precept budget each year. £1,000.
£1,000 a year.
I'm suggesting. So in other words, we're borrowing from ourselves at zero interest, and it will be recovered over a period of time, because this is going to last a long time and requires very little maintenance.
That's what we've got as reserves as well.
And the £5,000 then, our second grant, we could also look to do something with that in the future, but I don't think it would be, thanks Cynthia, appropriate just to blow it all on one project, because there might be something else that comes up that we want to address. Some further play equipment maybe, or another initiative within the village. So my suggestion is we can afford it. We can take £5,000 that we were first given and use our reserves and claw it back over a period of 5 years. The kit will still be there and it'll be in good order. That's my proposal.
Peter?
Right, I totally agree with Colin, but the only worry I've got is that Hadstone might require knowing
What we've done
what
with
we've
the
done
money.
with it, and would they like us to stick it in a cubby hole?
Well,
Only good for
we're
the-
being prudent. We're saying we've used our first £5,000 and we're going to keep the next £5,000
So the next
for
contingency.
another project.
Yes.
Were there any strings attached to that
That's
issue
right.
of the money in the first place? And I don't believe it was.
Well, there was a community.
It was for a community event, and we can say to them that the first part of the money will be used for this community benefit, and we have other plans coming forward, which we will advise you about.
Then
I think they'd be delighted that we have provided something for the young,
Yeah, correct.
personally, but
No,
not second guess.
There used to be various sports councils that used to support projects. Are there still any that do this?
pass. without the investment. But I would suspect, moving on to the next phase, which I suspect Colin's got in the back of his mind, that will be a bigger picture where we might wish to consider approaching such bodies if indeed they still exist. But in terms of what we're talking about at the moment, I believe that looking at the available funds in reserve, we have we have 15 grand in round numbers. So to take £5,000 out of that would leave us £10,000. And like as Colin said, £1,000 on the BSEC per year over 5 years is going to be a drop in the ocean, really, isn't it?
I think also, just to respond to Malcolm's suggestion, we took the goalposts down and there was a hue and cry from the youngsters. They've got nowhere to play football. And if we start looking for grants, that's going to delay the project.
No, I'm
even
not saying
longer.
that. I'm fully agree with you that this project is on the front burner and it should go ahead now. But I'm just making a suggestion for future commitment.
I think future, because the long-term project now, we're starting to get our thoughts together about the village green, the rest of the village green, then I think yes, we will not be able to fund it out of our reserves or indeed cash. So we'll have to look at the bigger picture of maybe a Viridor, maybe a Sports Council claim, maybe a claim from, John's the man, we'll resource it at that time. But I think this is a project where we can once again demonstrate to the village that you've lost a facility, we recognise it, we've been given some money, fortunately, and we're going to use it for the benefit.
Proactive.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we get on and do it.
So the first decision is, and I think it's unanimous, but can I just propose everybody's in favour of we are going to do something. Which one we're going to do yet we've just decided. So we're going to do something, unless Bob's going to have an alternative.
No, not an alternative. All I was going to say, I think if we do go ahead, obviously, as this has been shown, it's not an inconsiderable amount of money, and obviously it's a lot more than we were talking about at the last meeting, because it was less than £5 at that stage. If we do go for the reserves, then at the moment we obviously have a policy of a percentage that we set for our reserves, so we would have to change, which we can do. I mean, the reserves are a figure that we choose how much we want to put in there anyway, so we could choose to reduce the reserves anyway, if we want to. But at the moment, if we took it out of reserves, we would have to technically, we'd have to make those reserves up next year. It wouldn't be a question of doing it unless we change. But we can change that. So I mean, we don't even necessarily have to have 15 grand. We could say we only need 10 grand.
Okay.
If I would agree with you. I think using reserves makes sense, because it may well be that we need other things. I mean, we've got an item coming up later about buses, and we know that there might be a need to put some money in the pot to help with those. We've talked in the past about whether we were going to help out potentially with church issues. That was one of the things that was mentioned. And again, previously we've talked about putting £5 into a feasibility study for Fox and Goose Junction, which was talked about some time ago. So I mean, there are other potential big hits that will be coming forward. And in a way, I'd almost be happier as making a decision to reduce our reserve rather than just saying we'll pay it back. So I think either we do it or we don't. But there's no need to keep 15 grand necessarily in the reserves.
I'm misleading you to a certain extent, because we've got fixed reserves of
8,000. There's fixed reserves which we can't touch. They're reserves that are in there.
And then available reserve of 15,000.
So total reserves are 23.
In total is 23. So as a principle, I think everybody's happy that we move forward. So the next decision is which one we're going to go for, option 1 or option 2, which is the Wicksteed Park or the...
So the Wicksteed one might well be a little bit more since this came, but we've seen a good one, a very good one at Sutcliffe. It's a bit more expensive. Do you go for the one you've seen, or do you go for the one that you haven't?
Do we also know whether either of them or both of them come with certain years guarantees and maintenance, that sort of stuff, that would take it forward?
I must admit we haven't checked that.
No.
That is a good point. Which
It's probably
we-
in the,
we-
it's
we
probably
can
in the
do.
book too.
Did they give an indication on lead time?
6 weeks.
6 weeks in order.
Mm.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
what about Sutcliffe?
I don't know.
Because that would be the preferred one, I suspect.
Sean, do we also know what impact could be, I presume we're talking about going roughly in the same position the goal used to be.
Yeah.
Yes,
Does
it's going to go across,
Diagonally across.
diagonally across. So we're going to keep the trees, and it's going to go across, so it won't impact into the village green, except from the trees, probably 4.5 metres. So they'll still have the green
Yeah.
to play football on, and the goalie will be up against the trees, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
I also note that on Sutcliffe they are quoting or allowing a sum of money for site welfare, which I understand because they like to provide some form of security while it's being constructed.
Yeah.
There's not one for Wicksteed. Do they?
Uh,
So would
they've
they
got
be
Harris.
providing a...
They've got Harris.
Harris Sense
is
Oh, well, that's it, is it?
Yeah.
Rather than
Yeah.
an individual.
Mm.
Yeah.
As far as I understand it, the requirement from the committee was not that you decide on which one, but if you left it to the committee, but if you could commit an amount of money, leave it to the group to go away, because we hadn't seen the Wickstead one, all we've seen is the diagram. And there were still issues going on, but we were sort of looking for a sum of £10,000, not more. And you allowed us to go away with that, really.
I think that's where I would like us to get to tonight, because I do feel we should go and see the Wicksteed product, because the Sutcliffe product is very good.
Yeah.
It's well built, well maintained, very sturdy, and I'd just like to compare it, because there are design differences with the Wicksteed one, which might not be so nice. I think we need to. I think we need to make sure that it suits our
And maybe
environment.
further savings if we can play one off against the other, we don't know.
The other thing is as well, if you're going to investigate maintenance and
Yeah.
warranties,
Maybe
that might also
Yeah.
colour the final
if
conclusion.
we can tell them that if it comes out more, we'll have to knock it in the head because we've only got so much money.
Well, I think then
So
my proposal would be, please will the parish council endorse setting aside the sum of £10,000 to purchase, supply and install a mini Mugger Goal cricket basketball facility, and that it be financed by £5,000, which we have at this moment in time, and a further £5,000 which is taken from our reserves, and it will be up to the Finance Committee, for want of a better word, at preset time to decide whether they wish to readjust the reserves, but in principle £5,000 in reserves.
Could I just add a little bit to that?
Yeah.
What happens if, because of the financial situation of the country, say we get 10,000, then we find that it's going to cost 11?
No,
Well,
Brian, it won't, trust me.
The only way
I shall make sure it won't.
the only way that's going to go up is if they were buying everything and they have to do it in euros, but if it's UK stuff, for goodness sake, they've got no excuse.
I'm confident that
Well,
we
on
can
your
get
head
it.
be it.
Yeah. You know me.
So can we have, we've had a proposal, move second, Bob will second, and all those in favour? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Would you like those back, Brian?
No, you keep
Right, use of former recycling area. Have we actually got any proposals for that, or is it still pending?
We're ordered. It's actually on order.
Recycling, no, the
Recycling,
recycling area.
Sorry,
not now.
I've assumed it was the same.
We've been concentrating on this
That's
exercise.
pending, isn't it? Do we, is it anything to do, I mean, we did discuss,
sorry, I didn't hear.
this is recycling it, sorry, where the recycling it bins were. I guess you
Well,
have
we have suggested we get these cycle racks
ordered.
which Howard's ordered, and they're going to come to my house.
I
My man is going to put them in for us.
I would like to see that fence down, personally.
Yes, agreed.
I think it would from the fence.
That's going to cost a lot of money.
What's take it down?
Yeah,
I
No, all
I'll
right.
take it down.
can suggest that